The Constitutional Court has dismissed former President Jacob Zuma's leave to appeal in the Derek Hanekom defamation case. The Apex Court found that the appeal had no reasonable prospects of success. Now, this relates to the Durban High Court ruling in September last year that calling Hanekom an enemy agent amounted to defamation, and Zuma must delete the tweet and publicly apologize. Let's now speak to the man himself, Mr. Derek Hanekom. Thank you for your time this afternoon. So where are you? What are your sentiments? Is it a sense of relief, jubilation, celebration? Where are you regarding this particular ruling?
Thanks so much, Thami. It's not jubilation, and some people have asked me if I feel vindicated. No, that's not the sentiment. I certainly welcome the ruling of the Constitutional Court, and there is a sense of relief because it's been quite a long chapter, with one appeal after the other, which was to be expected, I suppose. But from the outset, I felt very confident that we would win this case with a very strong, excellent legal team, but mainly because the case was so imminently winnable. But it does bring to the end a bit of a painful chapter, and so I am relieved, and I certainly, am feeling good about it, but not good because for any other reason than justice has been done, and that people, especially people occupying important positions like President of the Republic of South Africa, President of the ANC, should simply not be allowed to get away with sort of totally unfounded, unbacked up statements about people's past, and statements that are highly defamatory and frankly quite dangerous and very offensive. So in that sense, I think that there's a lesson to be learned out of this.
And
people should be careful in what they say about others.
And how has this, Mr. Hanekom, affected you on a personal level? I mean, have you experienced any sort of reputational damage? Have you seen a bit of change in how maybe you were perceived or how others may have interacted with you because of that tweet?
This is not going to go down well to a number of people, but I take it from the comment made by the former president. I take it from whence it comes. So for a lot of people, it would have been totally disregarded, and they would have had the same attitude towards it. And in fact, could even have said, well, there's a reason for him targeting certain individuals because those are the individuals that stood up to him. But of course, for others, it would have had the opposite effect, and they would have believed what he said, and that's exactly why we felt the necessity to challenge what he said and to take on this as a defamation case, because it certainly was defamation.
There is this old saying that there's no smoke without fire. If you perhaps look back at your own life, could there perhaps have been a perception that you may have been an agent or working for the other side, quote unquote? Where do you think that could have possibly come from?
Well, firstly, I think this thing about no smoke without a fire, sometimes there is smoke without a fire. Sometimes people create a lot of smoke and there is no fire behind it. And I think so. The fact of the matter is, until fairly recently, when I started taking on challenging Mr. Zuma for some of the things that he was doing to our country, including asking him for, putting it to him that he should step aside as President of the Republic of South Africa. This was a couple of years ago. Prior to that, there had never been any indication whatsoever that I may have been, operating on another side. In fact, quite the contrary. It was Mr. Zuma who included me in his cabinet. It was Mr. Zuma, as President of the ANC, who approved my appointment as the chairperson of the disciplinary committee. And so, there was not a hint of evidence that he had any grounds or there was no indication that he would have suspected me at that time. Suddenly, a bit on, sort of fast forward, and he claims to have had knowledge of myself and Marco Ramashodi and all sorts of other people, But quite frankly, his claims have no credibility whatsoever.
President Zuma has been asked to apologise. Should he apologise to you? Is that an apology that you will accept?
Yeah, well, the court agreed on, the original High Court agreed on a drafted apology, which is an apology which he would have to issue within 24 hours. And of course, I accept the apology. But he first has to issue the apology, and he would have to retract that tweet. And then the court itself will determine the amount of damages that have to be paid. We have claimed 500,000 rand in damages. I should immediately say I had no financial interest in this matter whatsoever, and that all of the damages, whatever is awarded by the court, will go to Corruption Watch.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Derek Hanekom. Officially a free man this Friday, as far as the courts are concerned. Still some measures that need to be put in place as far as President Zuma is concerned, that apology being one of them, the payment of that amount, and of course, the costs related to this particular case.